I've been playing Squeakross recently, a Picross game, and it's one of the most adorable I've ever played. I bought it, played it for 60 hours, and here's my thoughts on the game. Before I get into the game proper, I want to talk about Picross for a bit. Picross is a logic puzzle. You fill a grid based on the numbers on the top and to the side, and after a long perfect chain of logic, you're rewarded with a lovely bit of pixel art. I love doing these puzzles in books like this. Multiple sessions on a large puzzle like this can give you a beautiful result and feel very rewarding. These puzzles are a joy, until you make a mistake. I'm only human, mistakes will be made, and when it happens, usually, it's awful. Mistakes are hard to track down, and you'll likely resort to erasing a part of the puzzle, or worse, erasing all progress and starting over. And even after erasing a puzzle, traces of it can still be found when doing it again, which can lead to confusion. I prefer doing these puzzles with a pen over a pencil, but I can't, because if I mess it up, I can't get a do-over. Now, I believe applying Picross to a video game format can solve these issues. In every Picross game, placing and removing squares and crosses is as simple as pressing a button or tapping a screen. Made a mistake? No problem, your game very likely can show you what you did wrong, without showing you the solution to the puzzle. Otherwise it might allow you to go back some steps or easily restart the whole thing. Most of them also give additional options for convenience sake, such as auto-crossing empty rows on the start of a puzzle or auto-filling completed rows. Video games make Picross puzzles as convenient and accessible as possible. It's amazing! But over the years I've noticed that it comes with one downside, and that is usually the puzzle size. Picross games are limited by their screens, be it a DS screen, TV screen or computer monitor. Puzzles can't be too large, otherwise it simply won't fit. Therefore, puzzles are never too large and are always made to be solvable in one session. To me, that is a shame, because the large puzzles are the ones I enjoy the most. I want to think that developers are aware of this and always try to add things to make the games more interesting. For example, I've played Depiction, which asks you to solve puzzles with multiple colors and multiple layers. After solving 3 puzzles, they overlap and create a lovely result. I've also played Piczle Cross Adventure, which combines Picross with a story/adventure mode, a beautiful pixel art style, and every puzzle you solve turns into an object in the game world. Lastly, and perhaps the most famous example, I've played Picross 3D, which applies Picross puzzling logic to a cube and you have to solve a 3D puzzle. I've played its sequel too, which adds colors to work with. These two are probably my favorite out of the lot. There's no enormous puzzles in any of them, but all of them are enjoyable in other regards. So when I saw the Squeakross trailer for the first time, and I saw that it combined Picross with a cute red aesthetic and room decorating, I was really excited. I was really curious to see how this combination would work and how fun it would be. So, I bought it on release and I played every puzzle. Here's the gameplay loop for Squeakross. You solve a puzzle, you gain a piece of decoration, you decorate your room, and you watch your little buddy have a blast. The game centers around puzzles. You have to solve puzzles in order to decorate, but you don't have to decorate in order to puzzle. Doing puzzles not only unlocks usable objects, but is also required to play more puzzles, starting off very simple and small and slowly working up to bigger puzzles. Never too big, but bigger regardless, and difficulty slowly ramps up along with it. Puzzles control like most other Picross games do, so what makes the game excel is its options. There's plenty of options to puzzle the way you want. You want no hints or help? You can. You want to always display where you can place a move? You can. You want to be alerted when you make a mistake? You also can. My favorite option is adding crosses when completing a row. It saves a lot of time, especially if a row is large and doesn't contain many blocks. Another of my favorite features is, quite simply, reverting your moves. You can press Z and revert as much as you like. Very handy, but what I like even more is that when you press it enough times consecutively, it gives a little pop-up asking you if you're sure about going back so much. The puzzles on occasion break what I consider an unspoken rule of Picross puzzles, which is that puzzles should always have separators after every 5th block. I've seen 12x12 or 18x18 puzzles with separators every 6 or 9 blocks, and it throws me off a bit every time. I don't like these as much, and the developers knew, because they added an option for forcing 5x5 separator spacings, and a counter to help with unconventional puzzle sizes. I can tell they put a lot of effort into the logic and the quality of life features in this game, and it's wonderful and it makes the game really stand out. In every puzzle you're joined by your rodent buddy, in case you need hints, or just need a little bit of squeaking. They have 3 different types of hints. I found solving a random tile isn't too much help, but I got a lot of mileage out of checking for errors and showing solvable lines. I put a cone on him once and it looked really cute, but he still kept eating, which was a little strange. When it comes to the puzzles, all Bloon has thought of everything, and it's resulted in a fantastic puzzling experience. mentioned earlier in the video that what I enjoy a lot in Picross puzzles is the end result. A lovely bit of pixel art. What often happens in the game is that the end result of a puzzle looks like nothing, because it's a zoomed in portion of the thing you're unlocking. I realized this required a change in perspective. I don't need to look forward to what the puzzle looks like when it's done. Rather, I can look forward to how it transforms into the object I'm unlocking. I think the surprise can be improved if you didn't know what you were making in the first place. This change in mindset does make it more enjoyable when the puzzle does happen to resemble the object you unlock. The room decorating is the second part of the gameplay of Squeakross. The more puzzles you solve, the more you get to play. Admittedly, the room decorating wasn't where I spent the most time. Out of the 61 hours I've played at the time of writing, I might have spent like 2 hours max decorating rooms. I found that whenever I decorated, it wasn't hard to make the room look great. There's 650 puzzles, over half of which result in items you can use to decorate, giving you a plethora of options. I found that doing some decorating in between on occasion is fun, but the main mode for me is still the puzzles. I do have to mention something particularly evil the developers implemented. You unlock the toilet puzzle at number 37, very early in the game. You're encouraged to place multiple in your room to unlock a rare achievement. The issue with this is that the toilet paper holder is unlocked in puzzle number 256, at least 200 puzzles later. You get baited into putting your little friend on a toilet early on with no means of escape. It's quite diabolical. Outside of these main game features, there's a couple of other things the developers added to make your time in Squeakross more fun. When you start up the game, you get a pretty in-depth rat character creator. Here you can customize your little fella and make them look the way you want to. A bit off topic, but I'm calling the creature a rat here, but I've noticed that the developers never do. If you browse the Steam page, you'll notice they always refer to the creature as your rodent friend. I'm guessing this was done to keep the species ambiguous and let the player fill in the blanks, which I think is a nice touch. If you want it to be a mouse, it can be a mouse. If you want it to be a rat, it can be a rat. After your rat creation, you can pick them up, plop them down, and watch them interact with everything you put in your room. Adorable. As previously mentioned, they also hang out with you during the puzzles. This is something I only noticed 15 hours in, but your rat has an email account. They receive mail from subscription services like Rodent Facts and Rodent Pictures. You also receive spam and mail from Nini and Nono, the in-game reason you're receiving so much furniture. The rodent pictures are my favorite out of these. The game has plenty more small details for the player to enjoy, but I'll let them surprise you when you play the game yourself. Before I reach my conclusion, I want to compliment the music and the way it's handled. In a recent upload of the soundtrack, they mentioned in the description they wanted a lot of music in the game, I'm guessing for the sake of variety. I'm very glad they did, because not only do all the songs fit with the rest of the game, but it didn't get stale for me. I've completed every puzzle and I enjoyed the music of the game all the way till the end. I consider this a fantastic achievement for this game. And I think that covers it for Squeakross. Squeakross is a charming game that I think can appeal to any person that enjoys Picross puzzles. A friend of mine was iffy on this type of puzzle game. I told her if there's any she was going to like, it was this one. When looking into the developer, Allbloon, for this review, I found they were also responsible for The Spirit and the Mouse, another game of theirs that I had 100%ed before. They're 2 for 2 with their games, and I'm excited for what they'll be working on next. Considering there's some space next to Book 2 and how the final emails mentioned Nini and Nono are working on more puzzles, I'm assuming DLC is on the way. If any of the footage you've seen of the game looks appealing, give the game a shot. If you've never done a Picross puzzle before, I also consider this as a good introduction. It has a free demo on Steam and is also available on Nintendo Switch and itch.io. Check out their website squeakross.cool for more information. Thanks for watching!